Hello everybody, this is Adam here at A Strings, and we are back with our good friend Mr. Andrew Guyton. It's a pleasure to see you again.
You too, Adam.
We were in Cardiff last night for the A gig, because Mark Chapman is a Guyton guitars user, and we were lucky enough to go along and film the rig before the show. So thank you to Mark and all the guys at A as well for letting us come down early and film the rig. So, last night was great, but we've got you in the room today to talk about Bohemian Rhapsody and your involvement in the film, because we couldn't talk about it before.
No, I don't think we could.
No, I think it was all kind of hush-hush before.
Yeah.
So, for those of you that don't know, Andrew is solely responsible for the upkeep of Brian May's Red Special, and the Red Specials that you see in the film, Mr. Guyton made from scratch himself. And yes, we just want to talk a little bit about it and just pick your brain and just see about the process and things. So it's kind of a no-brainer to come to you, I think, but how did it kind of all come about?
It was, they toyed with using various guitars or production guitars, but none of them were really close enough.
Right.
And so they emailed me any ideas, asked me any ideas. So I said, well, the only thing to do for a film like this is to build them from scratch. But the time for the first one was like 2 weeks. They said, "Can we have two ready for 2 weeks?" It's impossible. So even one, but I said, "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll find a way of doing it."
Okay.
So the first one was actually the last one to be used in the film. It was the Live Aid guitar.
Okay.
But no, we did it. The first day was just spent thinking how I can not so much cut corners, but how I could get things done quickly.
Okay.
All the processes that I could avoid. And so that's what we did, and they were delivered sort of within a day of the deadline. So, or just the one that we had one to do, the Live Aid, and then another 2 weeks to do the other one, the 70s guitar.
Okay. So let's talk about that then, because there's two different ages of the Red Special that are in the film.
Yeah.
So we did the 70s, which was the original sort of still relic looking, isn't it? We've got some photos.
It is, stick up. It's just a little bit shinier, a little bit redder.
Yeah.
With slight details like the red dot on the pickguard, the tuners. It's got different tuners on, and so we really tried to get both of them as close as possible.
Yeah.
And we had help from Greg, who's Brian's archivist.
Right.
Sending us pictures that hadn't been released, of the guitar in the 70s, and so that really helped. But, I just want to get it really, really close.
Yeah.
Even down to the markers on the volume knobs and things like that. So
yeah, and then obviously the 80s being the more relict version. But for me, and again you'll see in the stills, there's these tiny details like the little gaffer tape holding the binding.
Yeah.
And just where the wear is, the wear at the bottom of the fretboard, which is sort of the quintessential Brian May wear, isn't it? On that sort of that last fret, or it's not a fret, but
the end of the fingerboard just gouges into the wood.
But just amazing. So was it a case of, and obviously you were so pushed for time as well, was it a case of I need to build two new ones and then relic from there? Do you kind of
to a point?
The relic?
Yeah, it was. I did plan the relicing of it, but it was you kind of have to make them look fairly good to start with.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you've got to be mindful that they don't have to be perfect. To get them really bang on would have just taken weeks.
Yeah.
So they were sort of to an acceptable standard, for the relicing. But they did look really good, and I was really pleased with them. Really pleased with them.
Sort of electronics-wise, dummies.
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah, everything worked from a mechanical point of view. The switches moved, volume tone worked, but the no coils in the pickups, no electrics, so they were, just dummies really. But they were working, playing guitars.
Yeah, and I think that for the level of detail that you put in, I think it's definitely translated for everyone that we've spoken to that's seen the film. They just can't believe how detailed everything is.
Yeah,
You know, down to the microphones. You know, even the mic stands.
Yeah.
When they're doing the first gig, it's just incredible. So, was there ever a conversation with, obviously the filmmakers or whoever you were dealing with? Was there a back and forth, or was it just like they just said, "We trust you to do these two"?
Yeah, pretty much.
It was
they
that,
just
it was
left
that
it
easy.
to me.
I say easy.
It wasn't easy, but it was. It was just we want a 70s one and we want a Live Aid one, and then it was just up to me to provide that. And they were pleased as punch with them.
Yeah, and they do look incredible, and we'll be putting pictures through. So, when you make a Red Special, that is not 2 to 3 weeks. That is how long are we talking for one of them?
I mean, they're not available anymore. But
No.
But I mean, it really depends on workload. And how many orders I've got. So it's if people got there right at the beginning of that they would get them fairly quickly, but that soon built up, and it was 2 to 3 years sometimes.
Yeah.
So
was there anything that you found under this pressure? Then is there any sort of not new techniques so much, but is there any ways where you thought, I hadn't thought of doing something this way until I had this pressure piled on?
Not really.
So everything was the same process-wise?
Not really, no. That they were... I mean, it's like the bodies were just plywood, veneered plywood.
Oh, okay. So, so you don't have to be so selective.
So that's right, yeah. And everything was it just had to look okay. There's a majority of, a building a Red Special is underneath the veneer, underneath the pick guard. There's a lot of work that goes on, but to get the exterior looking the same, it's not that tough.
Right.
So, but I had a lot of help from suppliers, and tuners. They were probably the biggest headache. The tuners. Yeah,
because you've got the sort of the vintage style.
Yeah.
On the 70s, and then you've got Charlas, I think, is it?
Yeah, no, they're the old Charla M6s, which have got a slightly different shape on the back, and I thought, where am I going to get these sort of obsolete tuners?
Yeah.
And I walked into the workshop shortly after getting the order, and I've got a Melody Maker, Gibson Melody, 1964, and I've owned it for 18 years. Had these tuners on, in chrome. So all I had to worry about was the pearl tips then. So and the tuners for the 70s one were actually off a friend's guitar.
Right. So they're more like the original sort of Gibson Junior style, sort of that.
Yeah.
Sort of that open barrel kind of.
That's right. Yeah. They're on their own sort of small plates. I think they're Japanese. But
right.
They were kind of on all the budget guitars in the 60s.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean they look absolutely incredible. So the question that I've got from sort of that I'm interested in is the relicing process.
Yeah.
And what did you have to do? Was it a case of just being rough with it, or did you have to kind of figure out?
You got to sort of direct it. I mean, wear and tear on guitars takes place in certain areas. You've obviously got a forearm, wear there. You've got the sixpence damage in an arc. Yeah. Where Brian plays. And it was just trying to get that to look convincing. And I used, drills with wire brushes on. The last thing to do I did was a 50p piece, the largest, heaviest coin I could find, and really thrash the guitar with a 50p piece. And that would give the, that fine metallic dust that sort of gathers. It would provide that, and it did. I wouldn't say destroyed it, but it gave a convincing look.
Yeah,
to the guitar. With the Rustins, because I used the Rustins plastic coating, exactly the same as Brian did in those days. And then the wear in that, the sixpence wear, I actually used a wire brush and just bounced it on the finish, and it gave that real sort of crystalline sort of look. It's difficult to sort of describe really, but it just looked really convincing, like impacts and over the years. But I had, probably a day to do the relicing, so it was like,
Yeah.
how can I do it? And just
And
tried everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, and also it's, if there's that, it's very easy for it to go too far.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, okay, and I've got how many
I can
hours
make another.
left?
It's the beauty of using like a small wire brush and drill. You're almost painting in damage.
Yeah.
So if you can see a mark that's gone down to the wood, you can literally paint it in, and then you blend it with fine sandpaper, and then polish it with a like a rough polishing wheel.
Right.
And so it gives it that aged. So
Yeah.
it's been done over a period of time rather than half an hour. So it's
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the relic. It's something I've never done before.
Yeah.
So, but yes.
Well, this was going to be my next question. Now that you've done, because obviously all your guitars have been sort of pristine, and they are, pristine, and they look amazing. This being the first relic work, is this something that you would maybe do again?
Yes.
On stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually quite liberating because you spend all your time, being careful with everything. With a guitar that's got to be like glass. You have to handle it a certain way, but when you've got a relic guitar, it does free you up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the first relic guitar, I didn't actually do it, but Mark was actually playing it last night, the blue one.
Yeah, of course.
That's one that was artificially relicked, but a friend of mine did that.
Right.
But no, this one, I really enjoyed them.
That's cool. So we could see some
You never know.
relic
You never know.
in
Yeah.
the future. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's something I steered clear of, but now I kind of get it.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's one of those things you don't have to be careful when you're playing them there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously now that the project is finished and the film is out, what were your thoughts? Without going into sort of too much heavy detail, what you obviously went to you went to the premiere.
Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts of the film? As a whole.
I really, really liked it. I know I'm biased, but it was a great film.
Yeah.
And the lighting, camera work, everything was just bang on.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier about the props, everything was just so good.
Yeah.
It was, but we've seen it now. Me and my missus seen it 3 times now.
Right.
It just seems to get better. You think, I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I didn't realise when I watched it the first time, but when I was discussing it with my brother, actually, we were saying about the Live Aid scene and the way that they'd done the audio from whichever camera you were watching. The audio was louder, so if you were watching Brian on the cinema screen, the guitars were louder.
I hadn't picked up on that.
No, neither had I.
Yeah.
No, neither did I. But it's really impressive, and I'm gonna see it again for that. So, let's talk about your guitars then. Coming off the Red Special thing for a little second, what's your plans? What are your ideas for going forwards? now that the film is all done and wrapped up, is there anything
there is, but I can't really talk about it.
Oh, it's fine. We'll do another interview.
I do
in another 6 months.
There can be another interview in 6
That's what
months,
we'll just
and then
keep
I'll be able
doing.
to tell you tons more.
And then there'll be something in that one we can't talk about. And then
Hopefully,
we'll do another 6
it keeps
months.
things going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, but it's I do have some big-ish plans. So
Cool.
for the next sort of 2 years that we're starting to sort of work on,
Yeah.
and it's good stuff. Yeah, really interesting. But I've got so many ideas coming up.
Right.
With carbon fibre guitars and
Okay. Cool.
stacks of stuff. Yeah, never stop thinking. It's just part of making guitars. It's
of
just
course.
the fun of it,
Yeah.
and you build guitars that you want to use, and you see these things like carbon fibre. You think, oh, it's going to be amazing. And if you've held a piece of carbon fibre, the what they call the pre-preg carbon fibre,
Right.
which is done in an autoclave. You hold a piece up, it's like a tuning fork. Incredible stuff.
Really?
It's very expensive,
Yeah.
but it's sort of untapped at the moment. I
Well,
want
that'd
to
be
try
really
and
cool.
do something with that.
Yeah. That'd be really cool. Maybe as a solid or
No,
it'd be a hollow.
it'll be hollow. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Maybe a piece of mahogany as a core down the middle, but it's
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
I think so. Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in.
Yeah, that's sort of. I've got several ideas for
Yeah.
sort of carbon guitars, but it's
Right, that'd be cool.
yeah.
That'd be awesome. So, we are going to wrap things up. Thank you so much
No, very
for
welcome.
popping in again, and for last night, obviously.
Yeah,
it's,
It was a good night.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was a sober night. I'm just making that clear to everyone. We were all sober, and so we were all a bit weird this morning. We were all kind of like, this is strange.
Did we enjoy it?
Yeah, I don't know, but yes, we did. And but yeah, no, thank you again. And let's make another video in 6 months
Brilliant.
to talk about the stuff we couldn't talk about today.
Okay.
Brilliant. It's great to see you. It's always good to see you.
No problem.
I've been Adam for A-Strings. This has been Mr. Andrew Guyton, and we will see you in the next video very, very soon. Bye-bye!